Well, let's take a look at our grain market activity. It has been one of those profit-taking days so far in the grains. And on the corn market right now, we have that May contract just kind of hovering where it has been for a couple of hours now. We opened up about 2 1/4 lower, I believe, and right now we're down 2 3/4 at 3.40 3/4. It's hovering around 3 cents lower most of the day. New crop December down 3 3/4 at 3.60 1/2, and the soybean market has been trading lower today as well. But looking for the silver lining here, you have the May contract now at 8.79 1/4, and now it's about 7 cents off of its earlier low this morning. We're currently down about 4 3/4, and November is down a half cent is all at 8.72. So it has bounced back about a nickel off of its earlier low today. The wheat market in Chicago right now on the May contract, we're down 6 at 5.56 1/2. It roared ahead off of its low by quite a bit earlier. Now we're kind of settling back again. Kansas City on that nearby May contract is down 5 3/4. We're at 4.83 3/4. Minneapolis wheat today, it's showing a little bit of weakness. We're down 4 cents right now. Brian Hoops joins us now, and he's with Midwest Market Solutions. He's in Springfield, Missouri, joining us. And on the grain markets today, overall, most analysts that I have been speaking with, Brian, they have the attitude that, well, today might just be a day to maybe take a little bit of cash off the table after the last, 3 or 4 days of rally in the grain, with the exception of corn, of course. Do you think that's basically what we're looking at here today on a Tuesday?
Well, for the most part, you look at the soybean meal market, tried to rally to new highs overnight, and that's really been one of the big leading markets here is soybean meal. Concerns about Argentina exporting meal into the world marketplace because of some port strikes that they were having. But I think they've settled those strikes and meal has backed off, and that's kind of pulled soybeans off of its highs. Of course, we're not seeing a lot of selling pressure in the soybean market right now. There's a lot of producers that really don't want to sell soybeans at this price level, especially the new crop at this price level that, is barely $8 cash in many areas. And so we're not seeing a lot of selling pressure from that standpoint. The corn market, I think, is the one that we really have to be concerned about. Basis levels are starting to really back off in a lot of areas around the Midwest, especially where there's a heavy concentration of ethanol plants. So the Western Corn Belt is seeing a real hit to the basis this week. We've heard, some elevators backing off 15 to 30 cents, really depending upon your location as some of these ethanol plants back out of the market. And it's just going to create fewer opportunities for farmers to sell to. And there's a lot of corn that needs to be moved between now and the harvest time frame.
That is a big story this week, no doubt. Also, I'm hearing more and more frustration about not being able to get in the field again this year. A lot of folks just are raising some eyebrows about that. It's a little early yet, but they would sure like to see it dry out so they can get some field work done. We'll come back in a moment here, Brian, and then we'll take a look at our livestock trade, and we'll talk about that cattle market going limit up this morning after we come back. Well, we're talking with Brian Hoops of Midwest Market Solutions right now. I just checked the Dow. Well, it's up over 1,400 points right now. It was only 7 points away from hitting 20,000 once again. So wouldn't that be interesting if it would close above 20,000 today? That presents all kinds of scenarios. The livestock trade has been closely related to the movement in the stock markets, and here to talk about it, we go back to Brian Hoops. Brian, the live cattle trade has been lock limit up today, and it's still there. If we look at the feeder cattle market today, it has been expanded limit higher as well in most contracts. Now I see September up 672, so it got a trade in there. The nearby March up 343, so that one is trading, but it goes off the board here Thursday. So with the stock market roaring ahead like it's doing right now, is that really helping to lift the cattle market also, or is it really running on its own dynamics right now?
We're looking at sharply higher cash trade later this week. There's been huge demand for beef and pork products, especially at the consumer level. But we're hearing bids already in the 115 to 120 range. I had a feedlot tell me they turned down 121 as they want at least 125. So we are looking at sharply higher futures probably tomorrow into the weekend, trying to align itself with where this cash market's going to be. But I do look for much higher cash trade once it develops this week.
All right. Now, what about on the hog side? Have the cash hogs been holding their own this week? I would assume they have.
Yeah, they have, and cash market has been moving higher. It just came announced that China has been importing a lot of U.S. pork, about 160% more in the first 2 months than what they had done previous years, 560,000 metric tons, and putting the monthly average at an all-time high of 280,000 metric tons. So as they continue to be buyers, we'll continue to be shipping, and that market wants to add some premium off of this news.
On the lean hogs, they're not anywhere near expanded limits that they are allowed to move today if they have to. But with that being said, they're still sharply higher, and we have the April contract on the lean hogs now trading $2.40 higher. We're at $66.97. And that's about, 75 cents or so off of its earlier high this morning. That's kind of intriguing as well. The May contract up $2.35. The July and August not quite $2 higher. Brian, thank you so much for the time. I appreciate that. And Brian Hoops of Midwest Market Solutions. He is in Springfield, Missouri. The crude oil market not doing a whole lot, surprisingly, Christina, with the Dow up about 1,400 points. We have the June futures on crude up 57 cents. So there you go.